back, everyone. My Tom Thumbs Project Integra. Today, we're going to be deleting the ABS out of that car over there. My car is a 94 to 97 model Integra, so that's the ABS system we're going to be working on. Whew! Man, I am excited for this video. I've been wanting to delete my ABS for a few years now. People have constantly been telling me, get this line off of a Civic and go to the junkyard and, bend the lines and do all this crazy stuff. And I just wasn't about it. I don't like reaching in engines, pulling hard lines out. So I waited, and I waited, and I waited some more. And eventually, something came around that I could just upright and buy that I personally think will look a lot cleaner because I have a lot more flexibility. So let me show you what exactly I have right behind me. What you're looking at right now is a Valance Racing ABS Delete Kit. They've been making this for I think a few years now, and I saw it on eBay one day and I was like, oh my god, I gotta buy this. And right here is my prop valve. They basically made this out of stainless steel, and they have the lines threaded for you and everything. Everything's done. All you gotta do is just screw it in, and that's it. So I'm gonna go through everything you need to do the ABS delete on a 94 to 97 Integra. Hopefully this will be the first in-depth look on how to actually do it step by step. So this is gonna be a really long video. You're gonna hear me start to sound like, I don't want to do this at all, or I'm going to sound really boring. So, this is not meant to be some entertaining video that, is supposed to be fun and no, none of that. This is going to be a very detailed video on how to delete your ABS. So hopefully you guys can learn a thing or two from this, because I've been researching this for I think about a few months now, and I think I know how to do it properly. So let's first get started off with everything you're going to need. Part number one. You are going to need a Integra Type R, brake booster, and master cylinder. Next thing you're going to need is a 40/40 prop valve. Now, you can get this 40/40 prop valve from either the 90 to 93 Integras. I think only one bolt will line up, but that's not too big of an issue. I really don't care about that, to be honest. One bolt's good enough. My throttle cable is held together with one bolt. Yeah, so you can use this, or you can use the 92 to 95 Civic prop valve. These prop valves are starting to get a little expensive, so yeah, you might want to get one now. Next thing you're going to need is these lines. Now, I kind of had these custom ordered from Valance Racing. I'm going to put up their website right here. Boop. And you can buy this whole entire kit from them. They give you all of these lines, plus front stainless steel brake lines and rear stainless steel brake lines, which you're going to need because honestly, rubber brake lines and stainless steel lines really don't mix together well. Even though these are technically considered hard lines for up there, just get the whole entire kit. That way your life's a lot easier. So you're going to need, altogether, you're going to need, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to need 6 lines in total of these things. They're all kind of the same. They all go into the same port, even the master cylinder too. But you're gonna have to order, I think, their most expensive kit, which is like $250 something or $350 something. You can research it yourself. I might put a link down below on what exactly to get. But you're gonna need these lines because without these, you're not gonna be doing the ABS delete. Next thing you're gonna need is a 10mm flare nut wrench. Without this, you're going to be stripping a whole lot of nuts. So just buy this. And last but not least, if you got the most expensive kit, you might as well just get the front brake lines and the rear brake lines for the calipers. This will make your pedal feel a lot better if you're doing any type of track racing or whatever. So yeah, just get this whole kit because it'll make your life a whole lot easier. I had to contact them and get a custom order made, which was kind of a hassle. At the same time, I was kind of glad I did it that way because I saved a little bit of money. Now, thanks to Valance Racing for sending me out this kit and this extra front brake line kit, I figured, hey, why not give it to one of you guys? So, I'm not sure if I should give it away or do like a little raffle thing. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think I should do. That's everything you need. Time to hop over to the engine and get to work. Alright, first step is you're going to want to disconnect the brake lines where they meet at the the rubber line. So this is literally just the 10mm flare wrench that you're going to use for this. Just hit that, just take this off and make sure both sides are off and just squeeze the brake pedal inside, and then a bunch of fluid's going to come out and land in your drain pan. Hopefully you have a drain pan, you know, to put it in. But yeah, just drain that out, and then after that, after you drain all that out, there's this little clip right here. I don't know if you can see it. It's like a metal clip that goes all around. So that metal clip you see all around there, you gotta pull this off with a vice grips in order to let the whole entire brake line loose. So I already drained my brake fluid for the most part. So now I'm just gonna take off that rubber piece, or that whatever it's called, the clip, off the rubber line, and just pull the rubber lines out and go from there. All right, so you took the lines out of there and out of there. Great. Now we got to move on to the next thing. And that next thing is that. So just get your handy dandy 10mm flare nut wrench and just take off every single line that's connected to this module. And then there's 10mm bolts, I think, holding it in, wherever they might actually be 12mm. Actually, they look like 10s. So one bolt's right there, and then two should be in the back right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off all these lines and come back, and then I'll show you guys where the bolts are back there, and then we're just gonna lift this thing out and then start back here. All right, all the lines are removed. This is gonna take a while, by the way, so you just gotta take your time. Altogether, I think there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. Should be about 6 lines that you gotta take off, and I just bent them all back. But like I said, there's a bolt right here. They're 12mm, by the way. There's a bolt right here that you gotta take out. There's the bolt I said right there you gotta take out. This bolt right here, and then there's one right here. And then I think the whole thing should just come right out. I'm gonna wiggle this out and just kind of try to sit it somewhere right here. The lines, these white lines you see right here, there's a bolt that holds them in down here that you can't even see because it's so dark. So there's the bolt right there. So I think it's a 12mm. You gotta take that off. Also, I think it'd probably be a good idea to take off this too, because when you're going ripping everything off, you don't want to damage your clutch line. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off first, then I'm gonna take off this line, and I'm just gonna bend the whole thing down. That way I can just see this all clean looking and then work our way back. All right, now once all that's out and ready to, you know, be pulled, don't forget, it's still connected to your battery, your positive battery terminal, and it's a positive, or I'm sorry, it's a 10mm right here. So you just take this one off, this whole black cable comes off, and then you can still have your positive battery terminal just without the ABS line. All right, and now it's out, completely gone, and it's in a box over there. We're gonna put all the lines together in that box over there, and we're gonna weigh it at the end. So stay tuned for that if you're just curious about the weight. But now I bent the lines all the way down. The clutch thing, the clutch slave cylinders over there. There's wiring, excess wiring from the ABS module that you're gonna wanna cut. But you don't want to leave obviously exposed wires just touching each other. That's just, you know, not safe. So I'm probably gonna wrap those up eventually or do something with that. But now we're gonna work our way back onto the firewall. And here's where things get interesting. So you took off that, the lines are down there. Now you have to figure out how exactly to take the lines off the firewall and out of the wheel well all in one. I already took the one out of there, but I didn't take the one out of there. I just pretty much pulled it out and routed it down there. So that's out of the way. But this one I still gotta work on. And the way it goes in, it kind of goes in straight and then it goes straight down. So when you try to pull it out, it's not gonna come straight out. You gotta kind of pull down and then pull back, because you gotta, you know, get that angle through a little tiny hole like that big. So now we're gonna move our way down here so we can actually get some work done. So there's clips that actually hold these lines in, and these clips look like this, right? These clips suck. there was a clip right here, and I pretty much just ripped it off. Don't sit there and try to use a little screwdriver and pry them off gently. Get a vice grips or get a really small wrench. The one I'm using right now is something that looks like this. Get this and just yank them all off the firewall. That's what I did already. I yanked one up here. There was one down, well, this one actually just came right off with a bolt. There was one over here. You don't have to worry about these because these are the rear lines. You don't have to worry about this because this isn't connected to the firewall. Just worry about this one. I think just worry about the ones over here and the ones over here that are actually connected to the firewall. So now that you got those out, I mean the lines are they're still in there. They're not coming off. They kind of route all over the place, and it's terrible. I'm starting to see why this thing weighs so much. Like just these lines right here weighs quite a bit. But I already pulled out all of them, but obviously it's not going to come out because the fuel line is right there. So we're going to have to take off these 3 bolts, or these 3 bolts. This is actually a nut. So 1, and then these 2 bolts up here, 2, 3. So you pull those off, and you're gonna have to take this one off too, this bolt. And it should just start to slowly pry out one by one. And then once we get over here, once all of this is kind of free, we can start to take off the prop valve and actually just take off all of these fittings and then slowly pry it up, work our way over here, and then slowly pry it back. And then once we get over here, which is pretty much the home stretch, it all comes out. And then your life is just so much easier after we get all these lines out, because these lines are just terrible. Okay, back to what I was doing. I'll be back. All right, so you took off the bracket for the fuel filter, or the fuel line, and you took off these 2 for the whatever kind of prop valve this is. Now, you want to be careful, because I noticed something when doing more ahead of myself instead of telling you guys in the first place. So this line, this bracket, you have to break off. You have to get the grip, the vice grips or a wrench or whatever, and break this one off. Reason for that is because this line right here, this back line, routes all the way to your clutch master cylinder. So if you rip all these lines out, you're gonna rip that one along with it. So be careful with this one. All of these ones right here you can rip out, but this one back here, nada, can't rip it out. So I just disconnected that, broke it free. That way I won't make a mistake and rip that one out by accident. All right, so here's the fun part. You're gonna bend, after you take out the, after you break off that line loose and everything from the prop valve to the left is completely loose, and you double checked and made sure everything was loose, you're gonna grab the whole entire line and pull up and wrap it behind that line right there. If you somehow have this along with it, just route it behind that. That way you don't bring this line along with it. So make sure it just goes right behind, and the whole entire thing comes out like so. So here it all is. The last thing I need to do now is just delete it from the master cylinder, and then it'll all come out. And just like that, the ABS lines are now officially out. Now, you're probably asking me why I still have those 2 lines right there. Good question. Those lines are going to be reused, so do not touch them at all. Don't bend them, don't mess them up, because if you do, you're going to have a bad day. Next, we're just going to take off this prop valve and take off those 2 flare nuts, and our work here is done. Also, don't listen to me when I said that these 2 are different sizes. They were the exact same size. I don't know why I thought this size was different than this size. I must have been really tired that day, but these are both, in fact, 10mm and 10mm. And just like that, you've deleted your ABS. Alright, here's when I cut the video. So you still didn't delete your master cylinder and your brake booster, but I'll save that for when we're installing everything. So I hope you guys found this informative, and I will see you in part 2.